In the cold, gleaming chambers of the Galactic Council, ancient and advanced species convene to decide humanity's fate, dismissing Earth as primitive and insignificant. But as they declare judgment, a silent countdown unfolds across the stars, one that heralds the awakening of humanity's terrifying war machines. A single human voice shatters the Council's arrogance, igniting a deadly power shift. The chamber was an ocean of cold light and shifting shadows, massive crystalline pillars, hummed with energy that stretched beyond human comprehension. Suspended in the center, a vast holographic projection of Earth rotated slowly, the blue-green jewel alive with flickering storms and twinkling city lights. Around it sat the Council, a dozen alien delegates, each a pinnacle of evolutionary design, eyes gleaming with ancient knowledge and wary curiosity. High Speaker Zarak's multifaceted gaze flickered as he surveyed the image. "Primitive," he declared, his voice a deep rumble that resonated through the chamber like thunder before a storm. "A planet with no true spacefaring capability. Their technology is rudimentary, their society chaotic." Beside him, Cathal, the strategist whose eyes burned with cold logic, nodded. "Our probes detect no warp drives, no mass weapon systems. Their fleets are slow, their defenses basic. Earth's inhabitants have not advanced beyond primitive nuclear and chemical warfare." A ripple of murmurs swept through the Council. The bioluminescent Lyra, the youngest among them, hesitated. Yet their behavior is unpredictable. They engage in conflicts with brutal ferocity, and their tactics suggest a level of adaptation not accounted for. Zarak's many-limbed form straightened, dismissive. Unpredictability is the hallmark of primitivism. They are not a threat. The chamber dimmed as the hologram zoomed in on a sprawling human city. Humans scurried like ants beneath towers of glass and steel. One figure stood out, a soldier in worn armor, sprinting through a crumbling alley with desperate speed. His face was streaked with dirt, eyes sharp and unyielding. The projection shifted. In the blackness of space, a faint outline appeared, a sleek vessel, cloaked by layers of nanotech that bent light and radiation to conceal its presence. Sensors blinked red in warning. "Undetectable by our long-range scans," Cathal whispered. "They have hidden technology." "Primitive camouflage," Zarak scoffed. "A trivial inconvenience. Our EMP arrays will strip their defenses." Clean in moments. Suddenly the chamber flickered, the projection stuttered, a cold mechanical voice echoed through the silent room, a voice no one expected. "To -3 minutes," it intoned. The Council froze. Silence thickened. On Earth, aboard the warship Resolute, Commander Elena Vasquez stood rigid on the bridge, eyes locked on the countdown blazing across every screen. "They think we are weak, primitive. They call us a dead end," she said, voice low but steady. "They don't know what we've become." Beside her, Dr. Mara Ko adjusted her instruments, sweat gleaming on her brow. "The Deathworld ships are ready. They're designed for one purpose: total annihilation." Vasquez nodded, fingers tightening on the console. "Then let them come. We'll show them evolution is not always kind, but it is absolute." Back in the Council chamber, the dark shapes appeared. Massive warships, hulls blacker than void, angular and brutal in design. They emerged from cloaked depths, their surfaces writhing with nanomaterials engineered for war, for destruction on a scale the galaxy had not seen. Zarak's voice trembled. What are these monstrosities?" "They are the war machines of a species you declared primitive." Vasquez's voice rang out over intercepted comms, cold and unyielding. "Forged in the fires of survival, built for extinction." Panic rippled through the Council. The delegates' confidence shattered like fragile crystal. One by one, sensors lit up with incoming EMP pulses, waves of electromagnetic energy crackling through space, disabling ships with ruthless efficiency. Explosions flared along alien hulls, systems failing one by one. Zerak's many limbs trembled as the chamber descended into chaos. "Why are they like this?" Lyra whispered, eyes wide in horror. Vasquez's final words cut through the silence. "You call this primitive. We call this evolution." The hologram faded to black. The council was broken. Power had shifted. The war had only just begun. On board the human warship Resolute, the crew prepares for the inevitable. Commander Vasquez reflects on the brutal history that forged humanity's deadly arsenal. As alien warships close in, the fragile tension of survival tightens. Humanity's hidden power, ancient, brutal, and perfected, is about to awaken in full force. The Resolute thrummed like a living beast beneath Elena Vasquez's feet. The warship's hull pulsed with latent energy, an intricate weave of nanomaterials flexing under unseen stress. Deep within its core, fusion reactors roared, feeding a network of kinetic disruptors, EMP emitters, and gravitic projectors, all the silent tools of humanity's deadly revenge. Vasquez stood on the command bridge, a storm of steel and glass overlooking the stars that hid an approaching nightmare. Outside the viewport, the alien warships, sleek, black and monstrous, cut through space like predators, their hulls shimmering faintly as they adjusted their course. Beside her, Lieutenant Jarek, a veteran soldier marked by scars and quiet. Rage studied the tactical display. "Their ships are faster than our scans predicted. They're not just coming, they're hunting." Elena's jaw tightened. "They thought Earth was weak, primitive. They underestimated us. Big mistake." Dr. Mara Ko stepped forward, clutching a datapad glowing with schematics. The Deathworld program was a secret for decades. Ships built to survive the worst. Radiation, gravity storms, direct EMP hits. Each vessel is a fortress and a weapon. Jarek's voice was low, haunted. "The galaxy sees us as savages, but we've been shaped by wars that would break their finest fleets in moments." The hum of the Resolute shifted, sensors flickered, scanning for cloaked threats. Something they hadn't accounted, and for pulsed faintly nearby. "Cloaking tech evolved from nanotech dispersal," Mara explained. "It bends light and sensor waves by manipulating the quantum fabric around the hull. It's why they couldn't find us until now." Eleanor's eyes narrowed. "We hide until they close in, then we hit hard and fast. No mercy." The bridge's silence broke only by the steady countdown in the corner of the main screen. T-minus 2 minutes and counting. Suddenly, alarms screamed. "Incoming!" Jarek barked. "EMP burst detected at 15,000 kilometers." Lights flickered. As power systems shifted into defensive mode, Elena's voice cut through the chaos. "Deploy gravitic shields. Activate nano-repair swarms. Get ready to absorb the first wave." Outside, invisible waves of electromagnetic fury rippled across space, striking the Resolute and nearby escort ships. Systems flickered but held, protected by layers of nanoscale circuitry engineered to reroute energy and heal damage almost instantly. "Enemy ships closing in," the tactical officer reported. Their strike craft launching at high velocity. Vasquez gripped the armrest. "Fire the particle cannons. Target the lead ship." Energy lances tore through the void, crashing against the alien vessel's armor. A dull explosion rocked the Resolute as counterfire struck back, shaking the hull. "We're not just fighting for survival," Eleanor muttered. "We're rewriting the rules." A young communications officer looked up, voice trembling. "Commander, intercepted transmissions indicate their confusion. They expected a simple conquest." Elena's lips curled into a grim smile. "They're going to learn what it means to fight humans." As the battle escalated, she glanced briefly at a small, battered photo taped inside her console. A faded image of a ruined Earth city, long forgotten by the galaxy, but burned into humanity's soul. A single thought crystallized. The galaxy called them primitive, But in that label was humanity's greatest weapon. Unpredictability born from desperation, innovation carved from survival, and a fierce will to endure no matter the cost. The countdown hit zero. The Resolute surged forward into the fray, humanity's deadliest warship awakened, its shadows stretching to swallow the arrogance of the cosmos. The battle erupts as the Resolute and its fleet engage the alien warships in a brutal clash. Alien commanders grapple with shock and fear, struggling to counter human tactics. Amid chaos, a young human soldier witnesses the raw horrors of war, igniting a fierce determination within. The war for survival begins in earnest. The void erupted. In a storm of fire and fury, across the black canvas of space, the Resolute unleashed its arsenal. Particle beams hissed through the vacuum, cutting ribbons of destruction through alien hulls. Kinetic disruptors pulsed, sending shockwaves that crippled shields in a heartbeat. The fleet moved with ruthless precision, coordinated, relentless, unstoppable. Lieutenant Jarek's voice crackled over the comms, sharp and unyielding. "Flank left! Target the command vessel. We need to disrupt their control nodes." The alien warships wobbled, a hive mind scrambling under assault. From their bridge, the alien commander Malzir bellowed orders, his many eyes wide with disbelief. How is this possible? Their weapons bypass our shields, their ships regenerate. Damage! The Lyra delegate, now a captive in the Council's transport ship, whispered to herself, trembling. They said these humans were primitive, but they wield death like an artist. On the Resolute, Private Soren Val gripped his rifle tightly as explosions shook the corridors. The sound of war was deafening, alarms, distant screams, and the metallic groan of twisted steel. His hands shook, but his mind was clear. "This is what survival looks like," he muttered. "We fight, or we die." Above, Commander Vasquez moved like a shadow, her calm command steady amidst chaos. "Soren, stay close. Watch your corners. We hold this line." The warship bucked under enemy fire. Systems flared and sputtered but held firm, repaired by swarms of nanobots racing through circuits like blood through veins. Malzir's voice grew frantic. "Deploy EMP countermeasures. Target their sensor arrays." A pulse of energy rolled toward the Resolute, but the ship's layered defenses absorbed it, rerouting the surge harmlessly into empty space. Vasquez's voice cut through the tension like steel. "They think they can blind us, but we see in the dark." From deep within the ship, Dr. Mariko monitored sensor data, her face pale but resolute. "Their cloaking tech is advanced, but their AI is rigid. They can't adapt to unpredictable human maneuvers." Suddenly a new alarm screamed. "Boarding pods were launching," Jarek cursed. "They want to fight up close, bring out the close combat squads." On the deck below, soldiers readied for brutal hand-to-hand combat, every muscle tense with anticipation. Soren's breath was shallow as the first pod slammed against the hull, ripping open a breach. The corridor flooded with enemy soldiers, alien forms strange and terrible, eyes glowing with lethal intent. Steel clashed, cries echoed, and the air thickened with the scent of burnt circuitry and blood. Soren fired, each shot ringing with purpose. "They underestimated us. They'll pay." In the chaos, Vasquez's voice rose, calm but fierce. "Hold the line for Earth, for humanity." Outside, the galaxy watched, stunned by the warship born from a planet declared primitive, a force that shattered assumptions and heralded a new era of cosmic reckoning. The first strike had been made, but the war was only beginning. The battle intensifies as human soldiers face brutal close-quarters combat inside the warship. Alien commanders scramble to adjust tactics, struggling to grasp human unpredictability. Amid the chaos, a scientist confronts the haunting cost of their technology, questioning if victory will come at too high a price. The corridors of the Resolute became a war zone of shadows and steel. Alien boarding teams clashed with human soldiers, In tight, suffocating spaces, plasma blades hissed, rifle fire echoed off armored bulkheads. The smell of burning circuitry mixed with blood, a grim reminder of what survival demanded. Private Soren Val found himself face to face with an alien warrior, a monstrous silhouette lit by sparking wires. Time slowed as the enemy lunged, claws aiming for his throat. Soren dodged, firing a burst that tore through the creature's chest. It shrieked, a sound more chilling than any human scream, and collapsed, twitching. Around him, soldiers fought with grim determination, their shouts punctuated by the clang of combat. On the command bridge, Elena Vasquez watched the tactical feed, her face pale but unbroken. "We can't afford to lose ground inside the ship," she said. "Seal breaches, push them back." Dr. Mara Coe hovered near the emergency power console, monitoring energy levels as nanobots swarmed to patch critical systems. "Our tech is holding, but the strain, it's immense. This battle isn't just physical, it's tearing at the very fabric of our ship." Her voice trembled with a rare vulnerability. "The nanotech repair system is designed to heal wounds, but every repair costs energy, energy we might soon run out of." Jarek's voice cut in, hardened. "Then we make them pay for every inch. This is our home, our last stand." Outside, the alien commander Malzir's fury grew. "Their resilience is unnatural. They fight with desperation and savagery. We must retreat and regroup." But retreat was impossible. Malzir's fleet had underestimated humanity's ferocity and now faced destruction. A burst of light flashed on the tactical screen, an incoming weapon unlike anything the aliens had seen before. Vasquez's eyes narrowed. "Prepare for the new weapon deployment. This ends now." The alien warships faltered as the Resolute unleashed a focused EMP blast, disabling key systems in the enemy vessels. In the chaos, Vasquez allowed herself a brief, grim smile. "Primitive? No. We are the reckoning." The Resolute takes heavy damage, but fights back fiercely. Soldiers and engineers alike face crushing losses, yet find renewed strength in defiance. Commander Vasquez confronts the emotional weight of command, while alien leaders descend into panic. Humanity's brutal spirit ignites, refusing to yield even when all seems lost. Flames licked through the aft engine room, the heat pressing in like a living thing. Private Soren Val's lungs burned as smoke choked the air. Around him, the sharp ring of weapon fire mixed with desperate shouts. A fuse box exploded nearby, sending shards of metal raining down. "Keep moving!" shouted Sergeant Darien, dragging a wounded comrade through the wreckage. On the bridge, Vasquez gripped the edge of her console, every breath heavy with the weight of lives depending on her. Red warnings flashed. The Resolute was bleeding. "Empower! We can't hold this damage much longer," Dr. Mara Coe reported, voice steady but strained. "Our nanotech repair swarms are stretched to the breaking point. If the core goes offline, we lose everything." Vasquez's eyes flicked to the holographic display, distant alien warships massing for a final strike. "Then we stop them. Here, send all available firepower to the forward batteries. Target their command ship." Jarek's voice came over the comm, tense but determined. "We've taken losses, but morale is holding. Soldiers are rallying around the fight, not retreating." Below decks, Soren pushed forward, every step an act of defiance against death. Around him, soldiers fought like cornered beasts, savage, unyielding. "This is what it means to be human," he muttered, firing into the advancing enemy. The alien commanders, sensing the tide turning, began to panic. Malzir barked orders that fell on deaf ears as his officers scrambled to adjust to the chaos. "Pull back! Regroup! We cannot face this madness!" But the retreat was impossible. The Resolute's counterattack fractured the alien formation, striking at their exposed flanks. Vasquez's voice resonated through the ship. "They called us primitive. They called us weak. Let them see the fires of defiance burn brighter than their arrogance." Outside, beams of light tore through the dark, explosions blossomed like deadly flowers, and humanity's warship roared. With the power of survival born from countless battles fought on a savage planet, the galaxy watched, trembling as Earth's deadliest secret revealed itself. Not in weaponry alone, but in a spirit no machine could ever replicate. As the battle rages, Commander Vasquez activates a secret contingency known only as the Shadow Protocol, human technology cloaked in mystery and devastating power. Alien leaders watch in horror as Earth's true capabilities emerge. Inside the Resolute, soldiers brace for a brutal counterattack, caught between hope and dread. The war's stakes skyrocket, pushing both sides toward a terrifying brink. The Resolute shuddered, systems straining under the relentless assault. "Commander, shields failing in Sector 7. The tactical officer reported, sweat beading on his brow. Vasquez's jaw tightened. "Prepare to initiate Shadow Protocol. This ends now." The room fell silent as the order echoed through the ship's comms. Dr. Mara Ko's eyes widened. "You're serious? That tech hasn't been deployed in decades." "It's either now or never," Vasquez said. "If we lose the Resolute, humanity loses the war." Below decks, soldiers steeled themselves, whispers of the Shadow Protocol spreading like wildfire. Private Soren Val clenched his fists. If this is what they feared, then so be it. In the alien fleet, Malzir's eyes flicked to the sensor feed in disbelief. "What is that? Their ships disappearing." The Resolute and several escort vessels shimmered, flickering out of sight. "Like ghosts! They're cloaked! Impossible!" Another officer gasped. Vasquez's voice, calm and resolute, transmitted over intercepted frequencies. "We've been called primitive, but our secrets run deeper than your arrogance can fathom." The Shadow Protocol was no mere stealth tech. It was a war gamble, a fusion of quantum cloaking, nanotech adaptive shields, and precision nanodrones capable of surgical strikes. Suddenly, the Resolute reappeared behind the alien flagship, beams converging in a deadly, blinding burst. Explosions tore through alien armor, systems failing under impossible precision. Malzir screamed orders to retreat, but the damage was done. On the Resolute, the crew felt a surge of hope and dread intertwined. Power came at a cost. Dr. Ko's voice was solemn. "This technology burns through our reserves faster than anything. We may win the battle, but it could cripple us for the war ahead." Vasquez nodded, eyes steely. "Then we make every moment count. We fight for Earth, for every soul that will inherit the stars." The galaxy watched in stunned silence as the primitive species unveiled a power no one anticipated. A new war had begun, one not just for survival, but for the very definition of strength. Victory's cost begins to weigh heavily on humanity's defenders. Exhaustion and loss sow cracks within the Resolute's crew, while alien commanders grapple with despair and incredulity. Commander Vasquez must rally her people against the mounting psychological toll, while alien factions fracture under the pressure of their failing strategies. The Resolute drifted through space, scarred but unbroken. Red warning lights pulsed softly, casting eerie shadows on the weary faces of its crew. Sergeant Darien sat in the medbay, bandages stained crimson, his fingers twitching as exhaustion gnawed at his mind. "How long can we keep this up?" he whispered, voice barely audible. Nearby, Dr. Mara Ko monitored the ship's energy grid. "Our reserves are dangerously low," she admitted. "The Shadow Protocol was a gamble. We won a battle, but it may cost us the war." Commander Vasquez stood by the viewport, staring out into the void. The stars felt colder now, distant and uncaring. "We don't have the luxury of doubt," she said quietly. "Our enemies think us primitive. They don't understand we fight, not just with weapons, but with will." Below decks, Private Soren Val loaded his weapon, hands steady despite the fatigue. "They don't know what we're made of," he muttered. We survive because we refuse to die. In the alien fleet, Malzir's command was fracturing. Their technology, it defies logic. How can a primitive species hold such power? His voice cracked with frustration. One officer sneered, "Maybe it's desperation, not strength. Desperation will get us killed," Malzir hissed. Alien factions whispered of retreat, betrayal, and even negotiation. But no consensus emerged. Panic began to fracture their unity. Back on the Resolute, Vasquez addressed her crew over the comms. "This is more than a fight for survival. It's a testament to humanity's spirit. We endure because we believe in each other. Hold fast. The war is far from over." The ship trembled again. Another impact, but inside, hearts steeled. In the silence between battles, doubt loomed. Yet from that doubt, a fierce resolve blazed brighter than ever. The galaxy was watching, and humanity was ready. The toll of relentless combat surfaces deeply as human soldiers confront the loss of comrades and the burden of command. In the alien ranks, desperation breeds ruthless new tactics, threatening to escalate the war beyond control. Commander Vasquez faces haunting questions about sacrifice, while Dr. Ko wrestles with the limits of their technology and humanity's will to survive. The Resolute hummed low and steady, its wounds aching like the crew who kept it alive. Private Soren Val sat silently beside a fallen comrade's makeshift memorial, a battered helmet and a flickering hollow portrait, his hands clenched into fists. "We fight so they don't die." "In vain," he whispered. Dr. Mariko paced the lab, staring at cascading data streams. "The nanotech repairs. They work, but every patch chips away at our core reserves. It's a finite resource." Commander Vasquez entered quietly, the weight of every lost life etched across her face. "We're running out of time," Mara admitted. "The Shadow Protocol can't sustain us indefinitely." Vasquez nodded, voice steady but grim. "Then every decision matters more than ever. We must be smarter, not just stronger." Across the battlefield, alien commanders unleashed new horrors. Biological weapons and psychic disruptors designed to break human morale. Malzir's voice cracked over the comms. "They think their savagery will break us, but it only fuels our hatred." In response, human soldiers hardened their resolve, drawing strength from grief and defiance. Soren gritted his teeth. "We don't just fight to live. We fight so they remember." Vasquez stood on the bridge, staring at the stars that had witnessed centuries of conflict. She whispered, "What is the cost of victory when the price is our humanity?" The galaxy held its breath, waiting for an answer that none dared speak aloud. Haunted by loss and the ghosts of fallen comrades, the crew of the Resolute struggled to maintain their unity and purpose. Alien forces exploit this vulnerability, launching psychological warfare that threatens to unravel human resolve. Commander Vasquez and Dr. Ko confront the deeper cost of war, the erosion of hope, and seek a way to rekindle the fighting spirit before all is lost. The dim glow of the memorial chamber flickered softly, casting long shadows over the faces of the fallen. Private Soren Val traced a trembling finger over a name etched in cold metal, Sergeant Amira Lay. "Gone," he murmured, voice thick with grief, "but not forgotten." Elsewhere, whispers filled the Resolute, rumors of defeat, of hopelessness. In the alien fleet, Malzir smiled cruelly as their psychological agents broadcast distorted images of human loss back to the ship. "Watch them break," he said. "Their spirit will shatter before their weapons." But inside the ship, Vasquez refused to yield. Gathering her officers in the command hall, she spoke with quiet fire. "We carry their memory in every step we take. Let their sacrifice forge our strength." Dr. Mariko presented new data, subtle shifts in neural nanotech to stabilize morale under mental assault. "We can fight their minds as fiercely as their weapons," she said. Soren and his comrades took up the challenge, steeling themselves against the creeping despair. The Resolute pulsed with a fragile hope, a flicker of light amid endless darkness. The war was far from over, but humanity's echo would resound louder than ever. With renewed spirit and enhanced technology, humanity mounts a fierce counter-offensive against the alien armada. The Resolute leads a coordinated strike that turns the tide of battle, forcing alien commanders to question their assumptions about Earth's primitive warriors. Tensions soar as desperation drives both sides toward bold, dangerous gambits, leaving the galaxy trembling on the edge of devastation. The void around the Resolute shimmered with renewed energy. Commander Vasquez stood tall on the bridge, her eyes sharp as the tactical displays flared to life. "This is it," she declared. "We strike now with everything we've got." Below decks, soldiers armed with upgraded nanotech and neural shields prepared for the assault. Private Soren Val tightened his grip on his pulse rifle. "For Earth, for every fallen brother and sister." The ship surged forward, cloaked once, more in the shimmering haze of the Shadow Protocol. Across the alien fleet, alarms blared. Malzir's voice cracked as he barked orders. "They think this is a game. They will learn." But the humans moved with precision and fury unlike anything seen before. Missiles streaked past alien defenses, nano-swarms disabled critical systems, and gravity wells tore enemy ships apart. The Zay Resolute pierced the heart of the Armada, laser fire slicing through centuries-old arrogance. Alien commanders scrambled, their confidence crumbling with each devastating blow. On the Resolute's bridge, Vasquez allowed herself a brief, grim smile. "We are no longer the hunted," she said. "We are the storm." The galaxy held its breath as the war's momentum shifted, perhaps irreversibly. The brutal counterattack shatters the alien fleet's confidence, revealing hidden human technologies that defy their understanding. As alien command structures crumble, internal betrayals threaten to hasten their defeat. Meanwhile, on the Resolute, the psychological and physical toll grows heavy, pushing humanity's defenders to the brink as they prepare for the final confrontation. The stars were no longer distant pinpricks, but blazing beacons of destruction. Alien vessels drifted like shattered bones, their proud formations broken. Malzir's voice was raw with disbelief as the comms crackled with chaos. "How can they? This is impossible." Commander Vasquez stood amidst the Resolute's war room, watching alien sensor feeds flicker with confusion. "Primitive," she whispered, "until the veil is torn." Dr. Mara Ko presented schematics of human nanotech weapons, adaptive, self-repairing, and terrifyingly precise. "They never expected us to wield such power," she said. But victory was bittersweet. Corpses lined the medbay. Fatigue dragged. Deep in every breath, Private Soren Val fought to stay upright, haunted by faces lost and futures stolen. "We've become what we feared," he said quietly. "Weapons forged in sacrifice." Vasquez nodded grimly. "We survive not just for ourselves, but to prove humanity's worth beyond their ignorance." In the alien fleet, fractures widened, factions blaming one another for failure, some even considering surrender. The veil had shattered. The war was no longer just about domination. It was about survival, identity, and truth. The final battle unfolds in a deadly symphony of sacrifice, strategy, and raw human will. Earth's defenders face overwhelming odds, but their unity and ingenuity shine brighter than any alien weapon. Commander Vasquez leads the Resolute into the heart of the enemy, forcing an unimaginable choice that will decide the fate of humanity and redefine what it means to be a primitive species. The blackness of space was shattered by flashes of light, like furious fireflies in a storm. The alien armada had mustered everything, their greatest warships, their deadliest weapons. their desperate hopes, into one last cataclysmic strike against the Resolute and Earth's fragile defenses. On the bridge of the Resolute, Commander Elena Vasquez's jaw was clenched so tight it ached. The holographic battlefield pulsed in front of her, thousands of enemy ships converging, their lines a deadly wave threatening to crush humanity's final bastion. "Status report," she barked. "Lieutenant." Yaicheng's fingers danced over the controls, his face pale but focused. Shields at 30%, structural integrity holding, enemy formations tightening. They're funneling their fleet through the Shard Nebula, hoping to use the debris for cover. "Predict their first strike vector," Vasquez ordered. "Multiple and points, but the main assault will hit near the Lysithia relay. We can't hold it for long without reinforcements," Chung said grimly. Vasquez turned her eyes to the viewport. The nebula glowed ominously ahead, a roiling mass of gas and rock. Somewhere in that chaos, Deathworld warships built for annihilation lurked. "They think Earth is primitive," she muttered. "Let's show them what primitive means." In the lower decks, the hum of nanotech repairs mingled with the heavy breathing of exhausted soldiers. Private Soren Val tightened the strap on his armor, eyes scanning the faces of his squadmates. "Tonight, we fight for every breath, every heartbeat," Soren said quietly, more to himself than to them. "They've taken everything from us, our homes, our friends, but not our will." His voice was a small flame in the cold metal corridors. Nearby, Dr. Mara Ko monitored the ship's energy systems, her fingers trembling slightly. The nanotech patches that had kept the Resolute alive were fraying under pressure. "If the shields fail, the gravity wells will collapse," she warned. Vasquez's voice came over the comm. "Prepare for impact. Hold the line." Back in the alien command ship, Malzir's face twisted in rage and disbelief. How can these primitive humans resist when we unleash our full power? An officer beside him sneered. "Perhaps they are more than we imagined. Evolution takes many forms." Malzir clenched his fists. "I will not be defeated by savages." His command began to issue desperate orders, unleashing biopsychic weapons that tore at human minds, aiming to shatter resolve. But humanity's defenders had evolved too. Mara's nanotech modifications to neural shields dulled the psychic attacks. Soldiers gritted their teeth and pressed on, fueled by a fierce, unyielding hope. The battle erupted in full fury. The Resolute plunged through the Shard Nebula, lasers cutting through swirling gas, missile barrages lighting up the void. Vasquez's voice was steady as steel. "Divert power to forward shields. Deploy nanoswarms to disrupt enemy targeting." "Deploying," Chung confirmed. Nanoswarms darted out like flocks of metallic birds, infiltrating alien vessels and disabling critical systems. Explosions blossomed like dark flowers in the void, but the enemy was relentless. A colossal Deathworld warship emerged, its hull scarred and pitted from countless battles, bristling with energy cannons designed to rip through even the toughest. "Armor, target locking," Kai warned. Vasquez's eyes narrowed. "Full power to gravity wells. Prepare EMP burst on my mark." "Charging," Mara's voice crackled. The Resolute trembled as the Deathworld warship unleashed a searing beam. The shields flickered dangerously. "Mark!" A pulse of electromagnetic energy surged outward, blacking out enemy sensors and weapons in a burst of blinding light. The warship shuddered and spun. Vulnerable for a moment, Soren's squad fired everything they had, tearing through the enemy's hull. In the chaos, Vasquez's mind raced. They were winning battles but losing ground. The Resolute was a wounded giant, barely holding together. "Prepare." "The final protocol," she ordered. Mara looked up, alarmed. "The weapon. It's untested at this scale." "We have no choice," Vasquez said. The final protocol was a gamble. A cloaked carrier drone filled with self-replicating nanotech designed to disable enemy vessels by infiltrating their systems and dismantling from within. It had never been Used in live combat, the cloaked drones launched silently, weaving through the debris. Soren's squad was tasked with protecting the launch zone. "Hold the line!" Soren shouted as alien fighters swarmed in. Explosions erupted in tight quarters. Bullets tore through armor, but the humans held. The drones found their targets, burrowing into alien hulls, wreaking havoc in minutes. On the alien flagship, chaos erupted. Systems failed. Communications flickered. Malzir's rage twisted to desperation. He activated the Planet Killer Protocol, a weapon that could annihilate Earth itself, even if it meant suicide. Vasquez received the transmission. "They're willing to destroy everything," she said, voice heavy with sorrow. "We have to stop them," Mara said. "There's still time." The Resolute raced toward the relay, its engines screaming. Kai piloted with unwavering focus, weaving through debris and enemy fire. "Almost there," he said. Soren's squad moved to intercept Malzir's personal guard, the last barrier. The fight was brutal. Soren took a blast to the shoulder but kept moving. "Not today," he growled, firing back. Vasquez confronted Malzir aboard the enemy flagship. The two commanders stood on the brink of annihilation. Malzir sneered. "You are a primitive species, unworthy of this galaxy." Vasquez's eyes burned with fury. "Primitive? Maybe. But we fight with heart, with sacrifice, with everything you refuse to understand." She activated a device that disrupted the Planet Killer weapon's power source. "No more death today," she said. The weapon powered down. Malzir's forces crumbled. Back on the Resolute, the crew watched the enemy fleet retreat. Victory came at a terrible cost. Soren leaned on the wall, bloodied and exhausted. "We're still standing," he whispered. Vasquez looked out at the stars, a bittersweet smile on her lips. "Earth is no longer primitive," she said softly. "We are the storm that reshapes the galaxy."